everyone, it's Isabella. I am starting the first episode of my weight loss surgery diaries. Today it is Friday, September the 11th, and I actually just got back from my hospital. I had to have another set of pre-op tests done, had some nice blood work drawn, and had a new EKG because my previous EKG was done back in June, and the anesthesiologist wanted something within the last 30 days. Let's start with some basic information. Again, my name is Isabella. I am 22 years old. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I will be having gastric bypass Roux-en-Y on September 14th, which is on this coming up Monday here. That's really exciting. I have been told it's going to be at 6 a.m. However, I am actually anticipating a call today to confirm whether we are sticking with that time or if it's going to be at another time. For those of you in the Dallas, Texas area, I will be having surgery with Dr. Nick Nicholson, and it will be performed at the Baylor Plano Hospital, which isn't too far from my house, thankfully. As of this morning, I am at 364 pounds. That is not the highest weight I've reached. I have reached 372 pounds. That is my highest recorded weight in my adult life. I am 5'8". Just a little bit of a backstory. I am actually from Brazil. My parents and I came here in 2000 when I was 7 years old. I have always been a chubby kid. On dietitian prescribed diets since the time I can remember. And I have done all sorts of things. Best success I've had was back in 2005. I think it was 2005 when I was in the 6th grade. At the very end of this, like when we got out for summer, my mother found a place here in Dallas that did hypnosis for weight loss and a couple of other things. So we actually went and did that, and at the time I was weighing 216 pounds at 12 years old. Went and did the hypnosis program. It was an 8-month. They don't have a time span on it. It was however many sessions I needed to get to where I wanted to be. I don't exactly remember how it was. I remember that I think for the first month I used to go like twice a week, and then it became every other week, and then eventually I believe it, after a lot of time, it became once a month. A total of 8 months, I lost 80 pounds, but the problem was I was young, I didn't understand the process of maintaining, and when I did start to gain the weight back around my freshman year of high school, I decided to go back because at that time that place had a lifetime guarantee where if you started gaining weight, you could come back and do more sessions for free. Well, I saw that I was gaining a little bit of weight, decided to go back. The problem was I was young, and the guy who was working with me was making me feel guilty. Is going to be the best way to put that. He was making me feel guilty for having gained weight, which ridiculous. But so I stopped going because I was a teenager, and I'll just have that attitude of, oh well, if he's gonna be this way, well screw him, I don't need him, whatever. Started gaining the weight significantly back, gained the 80 pounds, and went on to gain even more. Beginning of my senior year of high school, family friend who she discovered this thing called the HCG treatment, and it was these shots of the HCG hormone, which for those of you out there who kids know that is the hormone that detects when you're pregnant. And she was going to go through the treatment, and I kind of observed her at the time. I was deathly afraid of needles, and I did not want to do that. But I was 10 pounds shy from hitting 300, and I really did not want to hit 300 pounds. I'm that person that avoided getting on the scale because I didn't want to know how much of a big disappointment I was. I didn't, and I don't even remember why I ended up getting on a scale to figure that out, but I did. So I told my mom, and these HCG treatments were very, very expensive. So what we ended up doing was the same family friend, she actually found what's supposedly the homeopathic version of it, which was actually a liquid form, and it came in a little dropper bottle, and you would drop it under your tongue, let it dissolve, and swallow. The thing was that the HCG pretty much was like an appetite suppressant, and you were only allowed 500 calories a day. And it was like only certain things you could have. It was really ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you. But I was so desperate. I wanted to do it. I can't even remember how long I did it for. I did it for a while. A couple months. I think I lost something like 50 pounds on it. My whole goal was be able to fit into a nice dress for prom, and I did. I mean, I managed to get into a size 18 for my prom dress. After that, though, I was just like, whatever, screw it. And as life went on, you know, the weight just kept on packing on. My relationship with food didn't get much better. It was just a lot. Around 3 years ago, I started thinking of the idea. I don't even remember, to be honest with you, how I got to the conclusion that I wanted to look into weight loss surgery. I just remember that I did, and I was like, let me look into this lap band. The more I looked into it, the more I was just like, this is really scary. This is a foreign object in my body. They have to inject this giant needle in you to fill it. I was just like, no, that's not it. Went on, I can't remember who suggested it to me, but someone suggested me this one particular doctor here. Saw this one particular doctor. I actually didn't even see the doctor. I spoke to a nurse practitioner. I only ended up seeing the doctor because as I was leaving the consultation room, he happened to be out there. She's like, oh, this is Dr. Such and Such. And I went to go see them about getting the vertical sleeve gastrectomy, or VSG. I was pretty set on that for a while, to be honest, and I ended up finding these girls on Tumblr who ran a Facebook support group for weight loss surgery, because a lot of times it's hard to find other groups where it's people who are closer to my age. Typically support groups are people like my mom's age, you know, so, or at least 30 and up, pretty much. And while I was in that group, I'm no longer part of it, but while I was in that group, I kind of just had a chance to compare some of the girls who had the sleeve versus some of the girls who had the bypass, and kind of where they started and, you know, what their results were like. And my whole thing was, I did not want bypass because I didn't want them, because, you know, it's a lot. It's rearrangement of the intestines. It's a lot that happens. And that was my whole thing, was I didn't want to do that. But as I saw the results, and it really made me switch to the bypass. I ended up calling the surgeon and letting them know, hey, I'm no longer interested in the sleeve. I would really like to have bypass. And they came back with, well, Dr. Such and Such only does bypass on special occasions, and you wouldn't really have the bypass with him, which I thought was ridiculous, because honestly, like, I'm the patient. If I want something, you know, and it's a service you do, why not just do it? But whatever, left it at that. Ended up giving up on that doctor. A good family friend of mine, she recommended Dr. Nicholson to me because her husband had actually had surgery with him not even a year prior to when we spoke. And I went down, met with them, and Dr. Nicholson was the one who sat down and saw me. Keep in mind, I was there for a free consultation, not doing anything, just wanting to get information about the surgery, wanting to see what the clinic was like. That's it. And he came in and took his time and spoke with me, explained the surgery, the consequences, the possible complications, what I would be expected to change after surgery. So it was just a completely different experience than what I had at the other doctor. Loved it, but at the time I did not have health insurance. And if you do a cash pay option over there, it is a $17,200 procedure. Of course, that includes everything. It includes the hospital, the surgeon, the anesthesia, it included 1 year of follow-ups. I mean, it was a nice package. It was a very inclusive package, but it was still $17,000. I did not have a good job at the time. I had a steady job, but I didn't make much. It just wasn't an option. To not make a super long story even longer, I was just fighting. I've been fighting for these last 3 years to get either the funds or insurance to have surgery. Fast forward to this February, I started a new job with Microsoft. I work, again, for those of you in the area, I work in Irving, Texas. That's where the Microsoft office is. And with my job comes really, really good insurance. At least good for me, if I'm gonna be honest with you. My insurance, though, is not through Texas. My insurance is Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, because that's where our reps are from. So that's where we get our insurance from. When I tell you I got the list of requirements that insurance needed to approve me, it was a breeze. It was like, it didn't require a certain time of dieting. It didn't require me to lose X amount of weight. Like, it was literally like, get these exams, get these evaluations. And I think that was like, because I had to meet, of course, with, I had to have a psychological evaluation. I had to speak with the dietitian. My parents needed to have an evaluation of support. I needed to be evaluated if I understood the surgery. It was just basic, simple stuff like that really my surgeon's office could write a report, send it in, done. The whole process of when I first went in to see Dr. Nicholson to when we submitted my stuff to insurance was about a month. That's just because of me trying to work out appointments with my work schedule. Otherwise, I'm sure I could have done it sooner. The insurance coordinator at the Nicholson Clinic called me saying, she shot me an email actually, saying, I sent in your insurance stuff today. I will let you know when we hear back from them, but you can expect it can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 30 days. And I was like, okay, whatever, Not even 24 hours later, I got an email from her saying, hey, you've been approved. There's a letter coming your way just letting you know that you were approved. I could not even believe it. Like, I was just on a whole other level of happiness, because it's been 3 years of me really wanting to get this done, really wanting to change my health, and just not being able to get where I need to go on my own. We then followed up with, okay, well, we need a surgery date. And I had been chasing down the scheduler for some time, and she had the worst timing. She called me while I was under anesthesia getting my EGD, which is endoscopy, done for the clinic. So it took me an additional day to get a hold of her again, because she left me a message, and by the time I called her back, she was out of the office. She emailed me saying, hey, this is the next available date, which was September 14th. And of course, this was back in, I believe it was June? Yes, it was June. So I was just like, oh my gosh, September is so far away. Do you not have anything before then? And she's like, no, unfortunately, we're booked solid. So that was that. And I've just been patiently waiting. And now we are technically 2 days away. And it still doesn't feel real to me. I'm not nervous yet. I'm just so excited. I'm sure Sunday night I'm not gonna be able to sleep, so and by the time I get to the hospital, I'll probably be nervous then. I've never had any major surgery. I've never had any surgery, if I'm gonna think about it, really. I mean, I've had wisdom teeth removal, but that's not real surgery. So, and I've only been under general anesthesia once, and it was for the endoscopy, but it was, not the same. It's just a little bit of anesthesia. Wasn't, you're out for an hour, but I'm so excited.